Hey everybody, it is Friday night. It's the weekend.
Oh yeah.
I can dance now. It's the weekend.
Sure, might as well. It's the weekend.
So if this is your first time joining us, if you don't know what's going on, we are Catherine and Jermaine. We're the creators behind Yoked, where we're teaching people that godly marriages start long before the ring, and helping to encourage those who are already married continue to, build strong relationships and strong marriages. So this week we've been talking about our history, kind of how we've met, how our relationship progressed as a part of Family Stories Month for the month of November. And we talked about meeting online, giving some kind of tips and tricks for online dating, and, just different things about us, what we were looking for, what we found in each other. And tonight we're going to hear the story of when he realized that he liked me. And 11 years later, I just found out that my recollection of the situation was incorrect.
Not incorrect. It was your perception.
It was slightly off. So that situation, I got sick. I got a cold or something, and he brought me some soup. And for 11 years, I thought that it was because he liked me, and I was like, oh, he likes me now. But I was just corrected. He was just being nice. So that wasn't actually when he liked me.
I was being a nice person because my friend was sick.
Yes, I read way more into that bowl of soup than was actually appropriate, which is not far off from how I usually conducted most of my dating relationships. Okay. I read a lot. But thank you for my soup.
You're welcome. I brought her soup and Gatorade.
Yes, I was pretty sick. And I was just like, oh, he loves me. He really loves me. And so just burst my little love bubble. That's fine. It's cool. It's all good.
No, but okay. So when I realized, so it was a lot of little things leading up from that moment. So as we got to know each other, we started spending a little bit more time together. And I think I was showing actions that I liked her way before I would admit it to myself that I liked her. So, but when I finally did, I was able to actually kind of process it. It took me a little bit longer so when
Sorry about that.
Oh, I didn't know it would just keep going.
Yeah, it's still on there.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yeah.
Good. So yeah, from the soup thing, we were starting to spend more time together. We were starting to go to movies, and we were starting to go to dinner, lunch, just hang out at random times. And I think as we started spending more time together, like I would do things unconsciously that showed that I liked her, but I was not really understanding at the time why I was doing those things. Such as, I would go play basketball, and for some reason, I would feel compelled to call her and let her know where I was. Like, I don't know why, but that's just what happened. And even when I called her, I even said, I don't know why I called you to tell you that, but oh well, now you know.
I promise.
Now you know, so.
That's what I was thinking about today. I was like, I remember that because you called, because I think I was at your apartment doing something. I don't know, but I had come over and I was like, I just need to, whatever it was. And you called and said, I'm going to play basketball and I'll do this, and I'll be, back by a certain time. And I was like, okay. And I hung up the phone, and then you called me back and was like, I don't know why I did that.
Yeah.
I was like, It's fine. I mean, I'm in your house. You should probably, it's fine to let me know that you're coming back.
Let's see another example. One time when we met to go to the movies, it was on a Sunday, and I was on the phone with my sister, and she was asking me about something, and we were kind of engulfed in conversation. So I'm standing outside the movie theater, waiting for her to come. So she shows up, she gets there, I'm on the phone, and when we go to greet each other, I give her the normal, friend hug, but in the middle of the friend hug, while I'm on the phone talking, I give her a kiss on the forehead. Now, that was the first time my lips had touched her body at all.
Yeah.
And so I continued in the phone conversation, and then when I hung up the phone, I'm thinking to myself, did I just kiss her on the forehead? And so we're paying for the tickets. We're getting our little kitty popcorn things. We're going, and we're not saying anything about it. We're just going on like that didn't happen. And then we get to our seats in the movie theater. It's dark, and she says, "Do you realize you just kissed me on the forehead?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It was just a reaction. I don't know why I did that, but I did it. So my bad." But she excused my brain lapse.
He liked it.
Yes. And then the last thing, when I went to Chicago over Thanksgiving break, for some reason I spent a lot of time talking to her, whether it was on Facebook, whether it was texting, whether it was Yahoo IM. I'm like, why am I in Chicago talking to some girl back in Memphis? This makes no sense. And actually, when I got back to Memphis, she was the first person I called, and
the light went out. Hold on, sorry, we're in the car. There's a basketball game, so we're doing this a little bit earlier. Sorry.
So when I get back to Memphis, she's like the first person I call, and she comes over, and we hang out. So and that's when I was like, okay, I like her. And consequently, that was the first time we had ever hung out by ourselves, not in public.
Yeah.
And that was the first night we kissed.
Yes.
I was divorced by this time, by the way.
Yeah, divorce had happened a long time.
Divorce had happened a while ago. So,
divorce was, about 2 years earlier. Well, maybe a year earlier.
Yeah,
year and a half, something like that. Yeah, it was a while. So we weren't like, not the side chick at all. No.
So yeah, just little things like I can't even say I was in control a lot of times. I think I was just acting naturally in our relationship, and naturally I just wanted to do those things, I guess. And yeah, I was like, fine, okay, I like her, okay.
But yeah, there's a part B to that story. We'll definitely talk about that on Monday. So yeah, but we wanted to kind of talk, tell this part of our story. It's cute and funny and everything, but we wanted to talk about it from the aspect that for women, when a man knows that he wants to be with you, one, he's going to pursue you, and two, you don't have to wonder, and you don't have to ask, and you don't have to chase him to try to, figure out what exactly is it that that's going on, because he's going to let you know that, even in our case, he was fighting it, but subconsciously, all of his actions were, this is a woman that I care about. This is a woman who I want to pursue and see where a relationship can possibly go if I'm going to do this. And even though he, fought valiantly against it, in the end, it was, okay, this is a woman that I need to really get to know and get and pursue. And one of the things that we talked about in covenant relationships was like the male female role, and who is supposed to do what, who pursues whom, because scripture says he who finds a wife finds a good thing. There's no like parallel scripture that says, she who finds a husband finds a good thing. Like, that doesn't exist. And that's, I think a godly order of how that's supposed to work. A man is supposed to pursue the woman. And do you want to talk about when we talked about women proposing to men and how that whole, covenant order thing works.
Yeah. So I can go like really deep into like scripture about how that's, not necessarily unscriptural. It's just not in line with how God designed the covenant. But in a nutshell, it's like this. The one who proposes the covenant is the one who kind of
Establishes, maybe.
The person like is the one who offers what they have. It's the person who sets the direction, the person who puts up their reputation, the person who gives their... So the best example I have of this is David and Jonathan. Back in the Old Testament, David and Jonathan. It would have been wrong, or it would not have worked out the way God intended had David proposed the covenant to Jonathan. Jonathan had to propose the covenant to David because David didn't have anything. Jonathan was the one in a royal position. Jonathan was the one who gave David his reputation. Jonathan was the one who loved David so much that he proposed the covenant. So
and this is a friendship covenant. It's not a marital.
Yeah,
it's not a marital covenant.
But it does give a very good example of making sure the right person actually proposes the covenant.
Yeah. So ladies, I know, and I say this from my heart and my experience. It's really hard, especially if you're, I guess, older and seeking a relationship. It's really hard to not take charge and say, okay, this is what I want. I know what I want. I'm going to go after it. Now, we can do that to some extent, but at some point, you have to let the man make the decision that this is what I want to do. And I know it sounds archaic, but if you look at relationships where a woman has taken charge and is setting the covenant and setting the tone for the relationship, that's where you end up with men who feel like they don't have to provide for their family because their woman is going to do it. Men who don't have to lead their household because they've, submitted to the woman and expect her to lead the household. You have the men who are just, very content with a woman taking care of them. And when we get with those men, we end up frustrated because we're like, well, you're the man, you're supposed to do this, but you've already established the covenant and set the example that it's perfectly okay for him to not take leadership of your household, and that he's okay with you doing that. If you allow him to be lazy or whatever it is that you want to call it, it signals to him that it's totally okay for him not to be the head.
For men, there's something in us that we have a will, and sometimes it's only so long before that will kind of takes over. So it's only so long a man can follow before at some point he has to set his own path. If you follow him and he's not going anywhere, well, both of y'all just gonna be sitting there. Mm-hmm. So you have to, if you're going to, hitch your wagon to a man, make sure he's going in the direction you actually want to be going to.
Right.
It's unfair, it's unfair, I say, putting it lightly, to hitch your wagon and then decide where you're going. If a man doesn't have direction, he's not going to be worth anything. He's worthless to anyone, especially himself. He needs to be able to find his own direction and then be able to say, this is where I'm going. Will you come with me?
Exactly.
Or will you marry me and come with me?
Yeah.
Where I'm going.
And I think that kind of ties in when we were talking the other night too about placing our expectations on a person instead of, being able to accept them for who they are. Because, in the realm of pursuing relationships, we, women who are, really wanting to be married and desiring to be married, but not understanding the fundamentals and the, I guess, seriousness of a covenant relationship, are, finding someone with potential and then saying, okay, now we've hitched our wagon, where are we going? Mm-hmm. And then, like he was just saying, now you're stuck and you're frustrated. So like with your clients, like how have you seen that manifested where a woman has taken charge of the marriage and she's kind of established the covenant, and the man's will is starting to kind of kick in, and now he's having this urge to lead? Like, how does that manifest?
Usually it comes through in with couples that say, well, before the marriage, this is what was happening. Then once we got married, things changed like this. Mm-hmm. When I hear that, when I hear people say things changed, I knew something was not working right before they got married. So that's a clear indication that somebody wasn't being very honest about the reality of their situation, whether it was the man, just kind of sitting back and letting the woman, do everything and dictate, the terms of their relationship, saying, this is how long we need to date, this is when you need to propose to me now so we can get married by this time and have this many kids. And then after the marriage, the man is like, okay, no, that's not what I want to do. Here's what needs to happen. And then people start fighting. There's mm-hmm. a struggle of wills back and forth. There's a struggle of, this is the direction, no, this is the direction, no, this is the direction, and this is what needs to happen. Kind of talk. Whoa. That's one way to get the lights on.
I know, right?
So that's how that manifests in counseling.
Yeah, so we're definitely keeping this one a little shorter than our other videos. But ladies, when you are in a relationship with a man, if you're looking to be in a relationship, be very careful about your pursuit of him and what that looks like and how far you go in that pursuit. I'm not saying, if you ever want to, meet someone and be married, that you need to sit at the house and hope somebody comes to you. First of all, that's stalking. Second, it's illegal and a little terrifying. Right, it's not going to happen. Not very likely to happen. And for the men, if you are with a woman and you want to be with her, don't make her guess. Make your intentions clear. Make them plain. Mm-hmm. Pursue what you feel like God has for you. If you're with a woman and you feel like, I don't want to marry her, I don't think this is going to work, don't waste her time. Don't waste your time, staying in that relationship and that it's not going to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. Just be, very considerate of, each other, spiritually and emotionally and even mentally. Because kind of dragging relationships out that are not going to be anything more is, can be very damaging and very detrimental in all of those areas. Mm-hmm. So.
Yep.
Okay. So I guess that's it. You have to go have fun now. So thanks for listening and watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you join us on Monday. Monday is actually our anniversary. Yay! But join us on Monday. We're going to talk about our dating years and what dating looked like for us and the lessons that we learned from that. So have a great weekend and we'll see you then. Bye.